Okay. Hello, let's do this thing. Go away. Okay. Hello, RC boy. Woof. Hacknug. Regura. Sorry, Hacknug, are you telling me to wait? Do I need to stop and then come back in a minute? Is that the idea? I said Regura and Atlaxt. Hello. Nice to meet you. So, mic is a bit low. My mic is probably just away. How about now? Probably not low now. Probably too high. Okay. So we're just going to, chill while Hacknug finds a place. Oh, an hour or two. Great. Let's see. Cool. Okay, let's give this a go. I keep telling you the audio issues are not with me. They're something else. So what we're looking at is order-dependent modules today. This is what I want to build. And the idea is you can have modules that depend on other modules. And they want to be able to manipulate the configuration for the other module. In some cases, they provide some default values. In some cases, they override it. The problem with that is that normally they say, oh, make sure to add this module before that other module, because it has to be there before if it's going to make some changes to the options. But that's a pain because, hey Harish, because that's a problem. Because what if the other module needs to make some, like it becomes complicated. So this is the sort of concept. We need to be able to, for a module to specify it. Then we basically run the code that changes the options. And then we run the modules in their original order. So we don't actually change the order of the module, because actually the reason most modules need or care about order is about configuration changes. Yes, I'm on Zen at the moment. Yeah, this is Zen. I was on Arc for a while, which I loved. What is this? Where's rental? I was on Arc, but obviously it's not maintained at the moment. And I feel like I should be using a browser that's maintained. Hello, Prish. Good to see you. Okay, so let's see if we can build it. So I think probably a good start would be, well, push my current test changes. A good start is maybe to write a code. This is Zen. This browser is Zen. I am going to push some code to, no, I'm going to write a test. That's what I'm going to do. That is the way to do it. So what we want is, or at least create a fixture so that I can understand the concept of what I want to do. Okay, so here's our code. Our concept of how we want to implement it. And let's see. Okay. So we want to create a module. So we have our nuxt config in our playground. And we're going to create a little module. So easy to do that. You just create a modules directory, and we're going to do a test. And that's going to be a module for us. And in this module, we're going to paste in the this dependency graph that we've basically got here. So we want to use nuxt fonts. It's got to be over 0.11. We have some overrides, some default values, and optional will say, you make these changes, but you don't actually force install the module. Right, that's the idea. So I have recently changed my monitor. I don't actually know if I have updated it yet on my website. So if I haven't, I can go ahead and do that. I'm now using the bench programming monitor. So it's 31.5. And it is really nice. It's this thing. They gave it to me, by the way. But it is very nice. I love it. I have another monitor which is behind me. That was the one I had before, and I will be getting rid of it. So if anyone wants it, and you happen to live in Edinburgh, then you can have it. Okay, so I didn't create Nuxt. I didn't. I maintain it. I'm the current maintainer. My users is, there you go. Okay, so this is basically what we want to have. We want to be able to force some other module, and we will install Nuxt fonts. That's the concept of what we will do here. And this, a tricky thing, this is what actually need to be typed. Yeah, that's a tricky one. Hey Chandu, that's nice of you to say. I wrote a little something about contributing to Nuxt, if you are interested. Okay, that is the initial sticking point. So typing, I guess we don't have to have typing to start with, but I'm just going to create a little to-do list because we're going to collect some. So to-do, we want ideally to have types for overrides and defaults. I mean, it's not a disaster if we don't. We also want to be able to install the module, which means we need to have the name to install. So it has to be Nuxt fonts here. And we need to know the config key. So to know change the configuration, we need to know the config key, e.g. fonts. To be able to install the module, we need to know the module name, e.g. Nuxt fonts. Okay, so there's some complexity there. Those are, I think, most of the constraints that we require. And ideally, okay, if we need to know the config key anyway, we might do something like, It makes me wonder if maybe this whole thing should be just about options, and then we still allow people to do install module, call install module in their modules. The idea here is that we don't need to create a graph because we're not actually changing the order in which the modules install. We're just doing a pass at the beginning to collect all the changes to the configuration. Then we merge all the configuration changes and then we run the modules as usual. So the good news, if we did that, if we basically didn't install the module but just set some overrides and defaults, we would be able to do something like it feels like it's the right place to do it. We won't have circular depths because we're not. Oh, I see what you mean, that one of the modules might have its own configuration to change, but I don't think that's circular because it can append a new module which will make some changes to the configuration. but if that new module then makes some changes that affect an existing module that's already run, but the module hasn't run by that point, so it's not a circular dependency. My main issue here is figuring out whether we let the user specify the name of the module. I guess so. I wonder if we... This is easy to build, hard to figure out the best DX for this. Well, I mean, it's not easy to build either, actually. Okay, so if we're going to start building it, this is our test module. If we're going to start building it, we're going to do so from, we have to prepare our dev environment. We're going to start building it from our define nuxt module as a starting point. That's going to be where we go. So define nuxt module allows us to take a module definition, and so it has a number of options here, some stuff that we can have. And so at the moment we're going to call this modules, and I think we might need to change the name. So I'll just put a little to do in there, a review option name. And modules is going to be a record. And actually I think I specified what that record would look like in type form. So, or maybe I edited the original. Yeah. Module name overrides defaults optional. So we'll have a string, and then we'll have those as values. And these are basically string unknown. So there's right now no type constraints, and we'll add that as okay, cool. Oh, there is actually a way we could do this, but right, okay. So basically we have an version. Version is going to be a string, and then we have overrides defaults and optional. So we're actually just going to pull this out and say export interface module dependency meta or something like that. And then we have these as our options, and we're just going to do that. Cool. So that's our module dependency meta. And we'll have a record of string and module dependency meta there. And then we should be able now to write a module without any type errors. Okay, so the concept here, the concept of how a module definition works is that when you call define nuxt module, it makes a function which does the things inside the inside the object syntax. It creates a single function, which is going to be a problem. Or, well, probably not a problem, but okay. So what we want to do, it does a couple of things. So it has a function called getOptions, which gets exposed. So we have this normalized module function, and the normalized module function has some stuff. So we're getting getOptions. A normalized module is that's what we actually run. Okay, here we go. So we're going to do something like normalized module get dependencies is get dependencies. Okay, so this is going to be a function that we're going to have to create. And so we're just going to do that. We're going to stick it after get options because that seems to me to be the place to put it order-wise. And so it's here. So we're going to say function get dependencies. And what this function is going to do is it's going to need to to, I guess, return this. So what we're going to do we need to just get the dependencies and leave it up to nuxt to resolve them? I guess we could do that. Robin, nice to see you, and Mate. Okay, so we could do two things. So get dependencies, which we might also rename. It can either so we need to have, from a nuxt point of view, two things. So we need to have one, a function which manipulates the nuxt options. Two, actually that's not fair. We effectively need a merger function, which we'll call later on. So, and we need a list of modules to install, right? So those are our two things. We need a merger function that we can call in order to and run later on. So as we like just before we install a module, we run the function to normalize the options. And okay, so basically we're going to run over, sorry if I'm talking aloud. Hey, what's up? Install module will probably end up having to be very significantly refactored and or not used. And ideally I would like nobody to use it, because for, like third parties, Nuxt itself might or might not use it under the hood. Because really it does bad things in terms of it blocks the module installation loop. It means that your module ends up, like multiple modules might run install module and only the first one that calls it actually does anything to it. You can pass the options to it, which take effect as overrides, but again, only the first time that the function is called does it do anything. So that there are issues with it that I hope this feature will totally resolve. So we need to basically say we want to get a list of modules. So something like get modules, I guess. And it needs to give us a list of things to install. And so right now it should basically return yeah, we have module. So we return module keys modules. No, we'll do it with the set. So const mods is new set for const k of if modules k okay, if it's not optional, all right. So then we add it. I hate the type of this. I'll just do object entries. And we'll say name value. And we'll say if value optional doesn't equal true, then we'll add it. Great. And we're just going to return mods. Great. Okay. Gabriel, nice to see you. We also then need to have a, if you're talking about, unfortunately there's no movement on this right now. What I would like to do, we'll have to wait until Nitro is released, and I would like to have imports nuxt and imports Nitro. And then that's what we use. So I've talked with Priya about that, but obviously it would require Nitro to make the change as well, or at least make it configurable. So, okay, function merge options, and we are going to say no, this is a runtime check. This is not a module add check. Okay, so this is okay, so basically we have, I guess, a name, config key name, and we also need actually this isn't right. If we have multiple modules needing to write to this, we need to be able to distinguish overrides and user options. So I think, in fact, we're going to let nuxt do all of this. And so instead of including this here as a function, we are going to need to, sorry, did I miss somebody? I think so. Okay, so I think actually we're going to do something like, what did we call it? Deps, dependency meta. So we're going to do that instead. Okay, so get dependency meta. And we are simply going to return module modules. Okay, and we're either therefore going to be module dependency meta or nothing. And let's try that. And the reason is because I think this needs to be really handled by nuxt. It can't be handled on a case-by-case basis. So normalized module is a module setup return, and so what we need to do there is have, wait a second. We need to have it, I guess, here. So this one is get dependency meta. There we go. Wait a second. Why is that going wrong? Oh, it's it shouldn't be a promise. It should just be directly returning. Okay, cool. So Matteo, nice to see you, and Yoshiv, good to see you too. So, okay, so we have got our types working, and we have everything flowing through. So at this point, when we run install module, which we do in nuxt, we are basically iterating through the modules at this point. So I think what we need to do is, now the problem right now is that install module does everything. It resolves the module and calls get meta, and does everything in order, right? But we actually need to change the logic. So it has several passes, which means we need to break install module up into two sub-functions. So basically we need to have something like load nuxt module instance, and then and so then it's calling it. So basically, if I say if I drop all of this out and interesting. So I think we have some things that we can basically do to. So this, for example, we're doing every single time, even though this would be the same for every single module. So this will actually speed things up by changing us here. So, and where do we use it? We only use it here. So, right, cool. This feels good to me. Okay, let's pull some stuff out. Just first, let's refactor this. And let's pop it into, now actually, where do we use it? We use it down in terms of modules though. I guess we have to have that. But it's possible that we can reuse it. Basically, I don't want to break this for end users who are using it, but I do want to break it in terms of I want nuxt to call something else. So I think I'm just going to deprecate this entirely, which we and we're going to do something else. Deprecate. Use module dependencies to let nuxt manage. Oh, actually, there's one more piece here that we may need to think about. And that is, this needs to work in a backwards compatible way. So, Isaac, nice to see you. And I'm very conscious that I need to review your Sanity PR. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, I think, refactor this quite a lot. And we're just going to create a new function to start with, which we're going to call something totally different, like install modules. And actually, this may be something that we could do. So basically, we have a list of modules here which have come from resolve modules. Okay, so they're a list of this. So we're actually going to take, at this point, a more generic modules to install. And we're not going to take any configuration. Cool. So that is what we want to take, a list of modules. And if we want to make it exactly the same of what as nuxt does at the moment, we're just going to iterate over them. So we're going to do this. And we are then going to wrap the entire function here in that. And now that should we're going to say module to install. And what did we do with options? Options was down as inline options. Okay, so we're going to pass that in as inline options. Great. Okay, so this should now work if we drop this out and say await install modules. We should be good. Except I think we should just be able to import that from kit. And we probably need to rerun dev prepare in order to, oh no, we might need to explicitly export it. So we have install module, we're going to do install modules. There we go. And now I think nuxt should be able to run. Okay, but now there's some stuff we can already improve now that we have this here. So we can move the resolving local layers out of install module. And looking at this, we should probably load all the module instances first, and then do the stuff later on. So, and this is okay. So we can basically do this a bit later on, but we do need to resolve modules first. So what we want to do instead is say const resolved modules is await promise all modules to install map module to install. There we go. Oh, it's a map, so we have to iterate over it. Resolved modules is going to be array awaited return type type of load nuxt module instance, and we're going to need to make this better, right? This should have a better type, and then iterate over them. So for const module to install of modules to install resolved modules dot push await. Okay, so now we have our list of our nuxt modules and of our resolutions, and so here we're just going to iterate over what we want to have is our nuxt module build time meta and resolved module path, as well as our inline options. Xing, nice to see you. And so we're then going to iterate over those. And we're going to iterate over the resolved modules. So we need to have and Okay, cool. Record string any. Complaining. There we go. Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. What about resolved modules? Hey, Fishy, nice to see you. It's been a while. We could just do await promise all, and then get our map out our set. And then we basically have that. And that needs to be an async. Hey, Mohammed Reza, nice to see you. So yeah, we're deep in the in this. Why is that module to install? Oh. Okay, so we need our original path. By the way, this is very much not like the final version. The aim here is just to get something that works, to figure out how we're working here. So yeah, for file system stuff, that it's so often promise all parallelizing different tasks is good for performance because you're not blocked by something unrelated. But with file system operations, parallelizing them doesn't necessarily speed up because the file system operations are subject to a maximum limit anyway, and the disk is the limiting factor. So often it is less beneficial than you think. In fact, I even found some cases in Nuxt where moving to promise all, like in the virtual file system, did not decrease performance. So it's just worth testing before assuming that promise all is going to improve things. And in this case, I think it might not have any benefit at all. Because it might even have a negative benefit. We have to check, because what we do here in terms of loading the Nuxt module instance is we just look at the file system to try and find it. But we do import it as well. So there's a little bit more going on. Exactly. Totally agree, Fishy, that's right. So, okay, so where are we? We have rewritten the define here. Where were we? This is a problem with too many. Okay, so we have our install modules. We've pulled out this, which is good. Now we've resolved all the modules in batch, and now we can iterate over them. But now in this place, we can add more modules. And here we can augment the options. Right. So there are two things to do there. So first, we need to add more modules. So we can get access to that with get dependency meta. And so we want to do something like this. Const dependency meta is res nuxt module get dependency meta. So this may not exist, right? But if it does exist, then we can register it. So we will do something like ooh, interesting. We might be able to make this a single loop by iterating over it. Let's try that. Maybe there is no benefit to the pronosal. Anyway, okay, we don't have to do it. Okay, if dependency matter, we're basically, we want to add modules to our list. And the problem is here, we've already fully resolved that. So this is why it might be beneficial to iterate over something rather than, oh, we could iterate over it and just, no, let's iterate over it. And because let's iterate over it and then see what the consequences are performance-wise before optimizing it. Okay, so what we're going to do is for const module so we're going to iterate and we're going to have our resolved modules here. Have to type out that type again. So it's going to be an array. What did we decide? Module. And we're going to do this again. Okay. And it's going to be have module to install. Oops. Great. Great. Okay, so what we're going to do at this point is bump our list of modules to install. And we've gotten that from here, resolve modules. And resolve modules has iterated across our options, and we've then used resolve module and we've added it in like this. So this is our logic. So let's just inline it for now. Name value in of object entries what is it doing? Stop this. Get rid of all of that, please. Ugh. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to call this resolve module. Is that it? Where's resolve module coming from? Oh, we have to export it. Oh, it's from nuxt. Well, that's a pain. Okay. This probably needs to move into Kit for that reason. Okay, so we have resolve module. We're going to move it into Kit module. There are too many things called resolve module, FYI. But anyway, we're going to be able to resolve the module, and we have our name at this point. And at this point, we also have modules to install. And resolve module path is where? It's internal. Oh wait, we return paths. So what is paths? Okay, so we do, it is the paths that we have. But we haven't passed it here. So what we want to do at this point is append things, and we need to get our paths from here. We're going to call it here when we are installing our modules. We're passing our modules and our paths. Where are we getting it? Module paths. And we should also pass nuxt just to simplify matters. Cool. Okay, so we now are pulling this in, and might as well actually just rename it for simplicity, or for clarity rather. Okay, and we basically care about this only if the value is not false. So we would say if value option value. Come on. Come on, what's value? Why is it any? Dependency meta. I don't understand why is value not? Thank you, Danish. I find this weird. What am I getting wrong? Oh, it shouldn't be, it should be a record string like that. So then we have our type correctly. Right, okay. So that's better. Okay, so basically we're skipping optional ones, and then non-optional ones we're resolving, and then we're adding them to the modules to install list. Great. Okay, that seems reasonable. So it means they go to the end and we add new ones. Okay, right. So that's right. So basically we're pulling this in. We have our module, we add in our dependencies, and then now what we need to do is normalize the options. So we have our inline options here. Now our inline options are actually being resolved once, but in fact we need to allow every module the chance to add some defaults and overrides for that given module. And this is a little bit more complicated because it's based on name. Well, let's first see if it works. So if I have my module option in my playground, the test module, it's specified nuxt fonts, so we should expect if we run dev playground that there should be an error because it can't. Oh, we need to import resolve module now from kit. Oh, but it needs to be a different one. So it needs to be something like resolve module, resolve nuxt module, and that then needs to be exported from kit for that is what it is, right? Did I not export it? Oh, there's another one. Oh, for goodness sake. This is so bad. Okay, so ugh. I'm going to have to clean this up so much, but for now, I just need this to run. So resolve nuxt module path. Terrible, terrible name. Never do this. So we have to export that. And then we have to pull that into nuxt. And that comes from nuxt kit. No, there's no difference between @nuxt kit and nuxt kit, except, I mean, there's an important difference. So you should only use nuxt kit without the in your project. So modules should not have a dependency on nuxt, because they don't have a dependency on nuxt. They should have a dependency on @nuxt kit directly. So modules should use @nuxt kit, but for you, in your project, you can use nuxt kit. It's a simpler way of doing things. Okay, so what's going to happen here? Yeah, probably dev prepare. Oh, I think we have to do that there as well. Yes, great. So it is trying to install nuxt fonts, which is fantastic. That is what it should do. Because it doesn't exist, so it can't use it, but the great thing is that it rightly tries. So we can go into Playground and install it. And I hear a knocking noise. Who could that be? Whoa!
It's a parachute.
That is amazing.
It's a parachute I made.
That's so cool then.
Mummy made it for me.
Really?
I had the idea.
Yes.
So the wind's gonna take it
Can
up.
I drop it from up here?
Just drop.
It works really well.
Add on the tip.
It's great.
You can hold it up and then.
It almost
It's a
glides.
bit tight, so you have to like. We don't want it to be tight. Yeah. Let go.
I am wondering whether I can find something to lift it even higher.
Yeah. Like if I stand it on that thing, it will go higher.
Ready?
No. Stop. Oh!
That was very cool.
This. If we even wanted, we could send it down your window.
We probably could. We
And
probably
then
could.
Could go down and see where it will land it.
Well, I think we'd have to be very careful with that because it could land in the road and it might cause a problem for a car that was driving past.
It might land on top of a car.
It
and
might.
Then we couldn't get it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Daddy, oh.
Well, that didn't even work as a parachute because it flipped.
It did like a flip thing. We want it to stay like this. Yes, we don't want it to go like
1 moment.
tied up. We don't want this to be tied up. We want it to be hanging like this.
Yes.
Nice and straight. It is so cool.
It
The
is
wind is
extremely
gonna
cool.
like.
Another time?
I'll catch it. Go. I catch it there.
Very cool. I need to go back to my stream.
The wind's gonna go. Okay.
Let's you and me go.
Thank you for showing me.
Oh, good.
Okay. Right. Okay, so we've installed a nuxt fonts, and so we should now be able to run our playground. Shreyas, nice to see you. And fonts should now be installed. Like, we should be able to try this and go into our app and say Poppins. And oh, maybe not. Oh, why would that not work? Let's see. So we have, I guess, added it to, but we've added it to modules to install. But have we added it to resolved modules? Let's try just logging out the resolved module. For goodness sake. The resolved module path. Yes, nuxt parachute. I'm in. Okay, so we're getting a resolved nuxt module path. So why would it not be working? Let's just check, is it running? Okay, we have our setup function. Maybe it is running. So we say console log running nuxt fonts setup. Okay, so it is running. So why this isn't working is a different question. Why is this not working? Well, we should, I guess, have fonts available to us. Yeah. So it is. Well, that is a separate question. The point is the advanced module is running. Okay, so so that works fine, surprisingly simply. Now we want to do is allow there to be a merging of the options. So we, for every module, we do something like this. We have our inline options, and that I guess is coming from the nuxt config. No. Okay, now this is actually complex. This is complex because normally Nuxt modules resolve the options themselves, which you might not think. Nuxt is actually not involved in resolving the options because the module itself in here has its getOptions function, and it grabs it from the options key. It applies the defaults, it resolves the options, and then when you're running the module, it uses that internally to resolve the options. Whereas in fact, what we want is to somehow do that for us. So now when we do call this, we have our inline options. We have our I guess this is fine. What we do is we manipulate the nuxt config, right? So that has to be what this is. So we do inline options remain the most powerful options. So okay, so the thing that we can therefore do is actually we can normalize it in a second pass. No, we normalize it when we're about to run it. So this is, we're going to have to majorly refactor this later on. Okay, so but what we do is we have this resolved modules, and we need to take out. We're just at this point looking for the dependency metadata and whether there's anything else to install. But I think we can also extract at this point the options functions or whatever. And that is basically going to be a set of strings and we're going to need to use the resolved module path for that as well. So we're going to pull it out like this. Okay, cool. So it's going to be a const options functions, and we're going to have the same kind of map as we have at this point, which is that, but we are going to, I think we can just we can say it's going to be a string or nuxt module. And it's going to be a, yeah, I guess, no, it's going to be an array of functions that return options. Or is that right? Because basically we need to we have the we need to return two sets of options. So we actually need to return defaults, and overrides. And so what we do at this point is if value dot, oh no, we just say value dot overrides or value dot defaults, then options functions set resolved module hey Punky, nice to see you. Okay. So if value override or value defaults, I will answer your question, Dinesh. Okay, so you have modules A, B, C, and D, and C installs A and B with some defaults, and module D installs B with different defaults. They basically merge is the idea. So you'll see what we'll do in a second. So why are we not getting this? Oh, no, we are. String a nuxt module, and this should be the module. Okay, so we are going to set the module and current functions and our new function, which will return us the defaults of value defaults and the overrides of value overrides. Okay. It'll be clearer when we write a unit test for this. Great. Azerbaijan, hello. Nice to see you. Okay, so basically we're adding in our options functions. And now we need to get them when we're about to install the module at this point. So what we're going to do is pull them out. So const options functions is going to be, what did I call them? Options functions. Get nuxt module. And what we're going to do at this point is if options functions dependencies what do we say? Overrides as an array, and we're going to have defaults is also an array. And so we're going to say const meta is for const function of options functions. We are going to say defaults. Yeah, that's basically it. That is basically it. And then what we're going to do is push. Actually, we're just going to say res, I think. Options overrides. I think that's fine. We can just push it. And defaults, a push options defaults. Right. Okay. So AI is not helpful in this case. Sometimes it comes up with good stuff, and sometimes it does not. Okay, so we add all of that in. And at the end, we basically say nuxt options, nuxt. We need the config key at this point. Const module meta is get meta. And if not module meta, I'm just going to say if module meta. Okay, and we're going to pop in module meta config key. Equals. Here is the configuration. We're going to use defu, of course, and we're going to have our options, our overrides, and we're going to have our nuxt options, and we're going to have our defaults. And that is going to, and we need to type these things for us. So these are array, record, string unknown. There we go. And okay. What? That's interesting. Huh. Okay, so this is actually a little bit more weird. I don't think that's the issue. Okay, so I think this should merge our config for us. So if we now run this, what is something that we should, well, we'll just use fonts as our example. So we're going to have some user config is 1. This is obviously not valid config. And then we're going to have some user config 2 and user config 3. Okay, so what we want is we're going to write a unit test in a moment, which will be a lot better. So we have our test module, and we're going to override user config 3 to be woohoo overridden. And then we're going to config user config 2 to be not overridden. Okay, and then what we're going to do is in modules, well, just actually do it in modules. We'll say function options nuxt, nuxt hook modules done. Console log nuxt options fonts. This is maybe not the best way. We should actually just stick it in the fonts module setup. And what we should see, that's not right, because we would expect the value to be overridden. So why is that not working? So we are and we want to have our resolve module path, right? So we should see that we have our fonts, we have our module, we have no options functions, and it's getting the nuxt module as the. It might be that this is a unique resolved module is returning a unique module every time. Ah, okay. We're setting it just as the font string. okay, we're setting, but this actually should be fine because we're also setting modules to install as the same value. So it should be fine. So when we come to fonts, we are iterating over the the nuxt module. Haha, it should be module to install. Right, let's try that. Yeah, perfect. So now we're pulling in we're overriding that, we're not overriding that, we're not touching that. So that is what we wanted to do. Now, this whole thing needs to be desperately cleaned up because there's a lot of stuff going on here. Module dependency matter needs to be exported from nuxt schema. Cool. We need to handle this resolve module path, and we need to think about install module and install modules. But that is a separate point. We need to that seems relatively safe. This is where I'm less happy. Okay, so what are we doing? So we have some benefits in that our directories are oh, we also need to handle Semver. So we basically have to do it here. There. So let's say if value version resolve package JSON name if not, wait a second. Oh, read package JSON. Okay, we need to improve this because we need to basically say that this is about the, that like we need to specify which module cares about it. So we have our module, we have our, specifically our solve module path, I guess. And this is either a function or Robin, what do you mean? The version here is being specified like this. It's being specified as a dependency. Now, to be fair, I also think that basically this should be specified as a peer dependency or a dependency of the module, and I don't see why nuxt should be handling this as well. So I'm also happy maybe if we drop this, like the version constraints specifically. Yes, this is just for showing compatibility warnings. What do you think about it? Good idea, bad idea? Okay. Okay. Module not found, sort of could not resolve specified as a dependency of okay. And we would also want to do the same here. Okay, so those are our warnings. And let's see what it looks like if that's what we say. So we're going to say we must have version 1 of nuxt fonts, which obviously we don't. So what does that do when we don't have it? Cool, that's working, right? Great. Now what we don't have here is any kind of types yet. And also, what if you go all in on this? This only works if the end user's nuxt version is greater than 4.1 or 3.19. So that, because this isn't enforceable internally in nuxt kit, unlike quite a lot of other features. So that somehow undermines the concept of an SDK. Yeah, good point, Mate. Um, so what I'm thinking is, should we, in fact, move any part of this into the module? And it's a very tricky one. Well, let's write our unit test for it first. So all of this, most of this is living in Kit. So we're going to add okay, we have a module test already. So we're going to do describe module dependencies. And what we need at this point is, what do we need? So it should install modules and their dependencies. No, it should install modules that are not marked as optional. Okay. So we have, say, a setup where we load nuxt, and we have a module. Okay, so we're going to load nuxt, and now we need to have a temp directory, and we'll just do this. And we're going to call this module meta dependencies. And we are going to load nuxt like this. I think we probably need to pass a module as our option. So we have overrides, and we have a module. And this module is going to specify a dependency on another module. And we're going to say, we should use define nuxt module. And we need to have a name. Foo. And we should have our module dependencies. And we're going specifically to specify, say, some module, and we are going to just pass it in like that. Right, so what we want to do is right. Okay, so what do we want? So we basically want to assert that install module is called with some module. Oh no, not install module, because that's not being called anymore. How are we going to do this? Oh, I guess we can mock it, the specific module, right? By mock and it needs to have a default export, which is, I guess, just a function. Is that going to work? I don't feel this is going to work. Right, what's happening? Unhandled. No test files. Running. Let's try this again. Okay, up. vtest, packages, kit, test, module. Could not load some module. Is it installed? How am I going to? I guess the problem is we're resolving it rather than importing it, which means that Vi isn't going to be able to mock it for us. So instead, what we probably need to do is allow it. Am I going? If we just write it to disk, if we create this module for ourselves. Or how about we use something that exists, right? So we're going to let's use something somewhere else. School. And then we have to have a module. School. That can't be right. That's got to be wrong, right? That's a bad thing to do. But let's just see. Does it work? What's something in our UFO? I mean, it just seems silly. Like, of course it's not going to work. Well, but what is the error? What is the specific problem? Nuxt module should be a function. Okay, that's the actual module that is the problem. So we should just mock UFO. We are. Do we just do this? That's what I was doing before. Why is it not? Oh, this says it just can't. Right, anyway, it's complicated. Let's just write it to disk. So before all, we are going to await make directory. We're going to await write. Going to create the file is going to actually be node modules and some module. And we're going to write file. This feels wrong. Someone come and fix this, okay? Please. I would very much like you to fix this. We're going to do and it's going to be name. We'll just do JSON stringify. Name some module version 1. Exports index.js, and then we write okay. That's really enough working, but we need to be able to assert that. So we want to do something like, oh, we should probably have just mocked this. What we want to mock is, where were we? Jitty, and we are wanting to Jitty import the module. Not sure how well Jitty is going to cope with. Jitty is going to cope with by mocking it. We can see. Let's see. By mock Jitty. Oh, Vassal have been great. Absolutely. And what we want to do is return create jitty to the args, jitty create jitty args, and specifically we want our import to be we specifically want our create import to track what it's called with. So we basically do import or maybe we just do spy on. And then what? This isn't good. This is bad. What am I doing here? Robin, don't leave me now. This is just awful. No, bye. No, you can go. You can go. What am I talking about? What is this? What am I doing? Why am I getting deep into jitty? This is terrible. I can do something awful and someone else can fix this, okay? Someone else fix this. I'm just going to comment all of that out. And what we're going to do is have this do, we're just an awful nuxt module. Okay, this is an awful nuxt module that I have not been involved in. Nobody quote me on this, okay? And we're just going to say global this. I want to know that this module has run, and basically because jitty hijacks importing, I can't just do a vymock. It doesn't seem to work. So I'm doing this, and I don't feel good about myself. But it works. Okay, so that is awful. And please fix it for me, because I should be doing something like this is why mocks exist. I shouldn't be writing to the globals to know that this works. But exactly. See you later. By the way, this is such a bad thing that I've more than once broken my test suite because I've imported before each from node test rather than vtest. I feel like surely vtest should be smart, VS Code should be smart enough to know that I can't possibly mean anyway. Okay, so that's fine. But I also expect let's try. Should not install modules that are already installed by the user. Cool. What else did we need to test? Oh, it should not install optional modules. So what's going to happen there? It's going to throw an error, right? Resolve module URL and ID. Oh, wait, what am I? Oh. Oh, for goodness sake. The thing is, it's too integrated everywhere. Like I can't just overwrite it. It's needed. And it's right that it's loading an optional module because it's trying to get the version constraint. No, this is a good question. Why would it load it if it's not needed? okay, I think there's a case where we should skip this. So if there's no value overrides and no defaults and no version, then we continue. So we don't need to do anything in this case. So like we have value defaults optional, and value optional. Yeah. So in that case, we should totally bypass our paper noten. Yes, this is the best time of the year, right? And the paper noten come in stock. Okay, well, what we need to do is now make an assertion about the merged config, because that's the other main thing. So merged config and also version constraints. So should warn if version constraints do not match. And this, I think, is probably the easiest to test. So we should just be able to do something like this. We're going to load it. We're specifying that the version should be 2. It's not. So we expect vi dot say console.warn equals no, what is it? Vi console.warn to have been called with that's weird. Maybe. Is there any point in doing that? That's weird. Let's drop this, and we should actually just see a what did I put in as the version for this module? 1. So this should be being called, but it's not. So satisfies, and maybe it's not being resolved. Yeah, it's not being resolved. Oh, because we have to resolve it from the from should be a string or an array? Excellent. So we want to resolve it, I guess, first from there we go. Okay, so now we are expecting an error, right? Let's try it again. Package is being loaded. Oh, I guess we mock the logger, right? So yes, okay. It's being called with that. Okay, excellent. Okay, that's good. So version constraint warning is working, although I think we need to consider the what happens if this is a function. So we would do something like module to attribute equals module to type of module is string. Or module in okay, so we should be able to actually make that a little bit better. Drop it out and say and this should be not included. So in this case, it should be dot, dot, dot. And then we can drop them here and here. Beautiful. Okay, so now we basically have one more thing, which is to specify that probably the most important thing. It should merge options as expected. And we have, in this case, we're going to do exactly what someone suggested earlier, which is have 4 or 5 different modules and merge them all and make sure that the stuff works as expected. And in this case, we're not going to load any external modules. We're just going to have them all already in nuxt config because we've confirmed that it should work. So we have 4 of them, okay? We're going to call them A, B, C, and D. And The modules, so what was the specific suggestion? Okay. So modules, so module A has its own defaults. So it's going to say module default, or we'll just call it value and say module default. Module default. Okay. And we have module C has no options, B has no options. C installs A and B. And D also installs B with some different options. Okay, that seems all perfectly reasonable. So, although I guess we probably do need to have some, well, I think we can handle it. So we have our defaults. Now our default value is, default is provided by C. We'll say just provided by A. Hello, Mamit. Okay. Provided by C. Overrides value provided by C. Cool. And then B, we're going to have overrides default value, and then we're going to do the same with B here. Okay, so what we expect is oh, this is actually a little bit different. Anyway, that's going to come out in a second. Oh, it's still at a to-do level. Oh, it can't load it. Why not? This is interesting because actually we shouldn't try and load it because we already have done so. So we probably just need to make sure we don't do that extra piece. Okay, ts expect error untyped next option. And we also actually want to check and confirm that the module A is vi function. Module B is vi function. Module C, vi function. Or we could just do this. We could just say setup options, expect options to match inline snapshot. Okay, that seems safe. And we'll just pop that in there and in there and in there. Okay, so that is not going to work because it's still trying to load it. Let's just see why we are calling load nuxt module instance on it. Install modules. And basically we are calling it in We have our modules to install. I guess there's a... Well... Let me just, before I solve this, write a little test to make sure there's not another bug. So we should do something like, it should not load a module from disk if it's present in line. And it should do this. So we're going to stick it in. We have some module there. No, we're going to pop this in like this. Okay, and you don't want anything. Does it make a difference if I stick it up there? Okay, so this is the bug that we need to address. That the meta name, if there is a module loaded of that name, we shouldn't then install it. So what we're doing is checking here. So we're loading up resolved module and modules to install and resolved module paths, I think. Yes, go for it. It is so much fun programming, so I highly recommend it. I think there's something we do need to do. We do need to improve here. So we have get meta, and I think get meta needs to be. Why is this async? Okay, so we basically need to and not modules to install and not. We also want to make sure that none of them has the config key of this, right? So and not modules to install some mod get, what's this, type of mod doesn't equal string, and mod get meta, then okay, so this is more complex. I feel like we should be doing this anyway, and it really shouldn't be async. Check for config key already registered. And basically what we're going to do at this point is say const config keys equals await promise or modules to install map and mod get meta, then r.r.config key. Like that is the if config keys shouldn't be doing this every time either. Has resolved module. Okay, that should hopefully skip it. And now we should be able to check this as well. Okay. Right. So the options we're getting provided by A, interesting. Okay, it's not doing any merging. That is very broken. So it should definitely do some merging because we've specified some overrides and defaults for some different modules. So why are we not doing any merging? I wonder if it's because of what I've just done. Let's see. So we have overrides. Right. Okay. No, it's because of how we're accessing it. Or options, functions. Yeah, because it needs to access the meta key as well. Can I make my screen bigger? Yeah, update those. What do you mean by that? Do you want the text to be bigger? Is that what you mean? And hi, by the way, Randolph. Okay, so we now have our options where we've provided by A, and the options are overridden by C. And I guess we want to have user config as well. So our user config is B, C. So A is going to be user provided by user. And we need to have the same for should also confirm that the thing that's overriding A nuxt.com, I would welcome anyone to take a look at it. Nuxt.com wasn't written by anybody in the Nuxt core team, so there are some things there that maybe are not perhaps optimal, and also it's been back and forth. So different people have written different things. I think basically it could do with some love, and it could do with someone who knows a little bit about performance, focusing on it. I would also, though, say that that lab tests, which are page speed, are not necessarily the same as actual user experience. So nuxt.com I found to be very performant when I've used it, much more so than the 44 might suggest, and that is often true, because some of the things that are being tested in these tests are not strictly the same as in real life. And that would be an easy fix, right? So I'm pretty sure that when we moved there, we had a layout shift, so that should easily be fixed. Anyway, if you would like to do some fixing, that would be great. Okay, so we have, why are we expecting, untyped next options. Okay, so that is right. We don't need our playground anymore, because we now have this being tested in a unit test. And I think it's pretty clear what is happening. Now this thing that we've moved out is basically okay, this is actually not resolve module path, it's module path and options. So this is very similar to the code that we just saw above, probably because I copied it directly. Actually, that's very true. But that means we probably need to make the same fix. Okay, well, this is all... I think I should probably push this. Just... we should also do some... Oh, probably need to rerun dev prepare. Just so we can get some feedback and some other eyes on it before I take another look a bit later on. Cool. We're going to create a new branch. We're going to call this feat module dependencies and feat kit nuxt schema. Allow modules to specify dependencies and push. Cool. I'm glad we got a chance to at least finish that. We'll probably want to Okay, cool. This has been a lot of fun. We'll see, what's this? What's going on? Have I broken everything? Why is that not loading? Like, what's all that? What? Oh, I think somehow I've broken resolve module or something like that. Let's have a look at all the changes that we made. So define is fine. Install. So it should be fine, right? We're not doing a lot. We have resolve module with options as another thing. Nuxt should... that should be fine. There's not a lot of changes here. So what could the issue be? It must be something to do with this resolve module function, right? This is very strange. Okay, let's just commit it again and go back to the previous commit in the branch. And prepare it and see if we can run, like as in we want to isolate it to this commit, and I'm guessing it will. So yeah, that works fine. So we've clearly done something that's broken something. Okay, so back to the last commit. And I'm just going to swap out install modules for install module. Just in case I can identify it. Like I can because install module should still work exactly as it did before. So we've not changed it. So does that work? That works fine. So it really is something in install modules. Aha. So well, that's a bit disheartening. Let's try that instead. Okay. Okay. So something that install modules did that's not working properly. And I wonder if it's the layers disk. No, that should be fine. Okay, I'm going to need to spend some oh, this is always going to be defined. Let's try that. Wait a second, resolve alias maybe. Pulling in resolve alias from resolve. Where do we pull that in from here? What did we drop? What did we lose? We lost resolve module path, which came from, and resolve alias. So resolve module path and resolve alias, they were being imported from resolve alias. Resolve module path was coming from xsolve. And now in install, it's coming from xsolve. No, define. And resolve alias is coming from resolve. Maybe hey Q. Rogoa, see you later. Thank you for coming. I'm going to have to track this one down later. Goodness. And sorry, Q, to go just as you arrive, but I don't know what that is. Let's try finding someone to raid. And Fred. Let's join Fred. I've never raided Fred before. Okay. Should we do it? Exactly. You will be forgiven. I'm sorry, Rondolph. we're just about to go. Ask me another time. I would love to answer you. But I would just say, be curious, explore, try things, and but yeah, ask me another time. Well, thanks everyone for joining. It has been a lot of fun as always, and yeah, let's do another thing another time. Bye.